Hiya Six. I just wanted to say before we move on how impressed I've been with your marble runs or your roller coasters. They are amazing. Thank you to the people that have been really creative and maybe used like Lego men, golf balls, added colour, made it swirl around corners, go up and down. Fantastic. It's been just lovely to see that you embrace the challenge and you're really showing all of your skills, and I really appreciate that. Thank you. Six. So we're going to move on to a new project today, and just thinking about the things that we've got in school, we've got at home, because we're all in different places at the moment. We're going to go on to origami, because origami is a way of making a structure out of paper. You could say it's an art form too, which I would agree, but I thought it would be a nice thing to finish off with in this last part of term. We're going to focus on origami animals, and if you are someone who does origami, then you're going to be a step ahead of all of us, because I've done a bit but not a lot. So it would be great to see if you are an origami expert. It'd be great to see what you can create. We're going to work it through week by week, and we're going to try and take the technicality up as we go. You will need for this paper. Now, the best paper to use for origami, as I understand, is thin paper rather than thick, because then you can really fold it many different ways on itself. I'm going to use some coloured paper that I've got. You can use white print paper. That might be the best thing because it's nice and thin. And you can always add a bit of colour or detail to it at the end if you'd like to. I will be using videos from YouTube to help me as well, because I am learning, so I need to be taught myself, then I can teach you. I hope you enjoy. I hope you can create a bit of a zoo, I guess you could say, of origami animals. And if you are someone who is quite efficient at this, do try to maybe rather than just make one origami animal, you could try making them in different sizes. But we are going to make an origami paper bird today, sometimes called a crane. I think this is an achievable piece of origami for our first week. There will be my video and there will be the online video too, and I hope they will help you to follow the stages. If it goes terribly wrong, please don't worry. That happens when we're making. We found that out in DT. Do the best you can, and I'd love to see your results. Okay, so I've got my paper ready. One thing I have, which might make it look quite different, is my paper is white on one side and blue on the other. So when this gets folded, it might create a nice contrast. I know origami paper normally is coloured the same on both sides. So we'll just see what my paper creates, and that's kind of part of the fun experimentation. The first thing you need to do is you need to draw out a 15 by 15 centimetre square, and the more accurate the better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw mine out and then show you, and I'm going to cut mine as accurately as possible. That is very important to get a good square. But we are going to make an origami paper bird today, sometimes called a crane. I think this is an achievable piece of origami for our first week. There will be my video and there will be the online video too, and I hope they will help you to follow the stages. If it goes terribly wrong, please don't worry. That happens when we're making. We found that out in DT. Do the best you can, and I'd love to see your results. I've just drawn up my square. You can see I've used the edge of the paper to help me. So those two edges are already done, they're nice and straight, and then I've just drawn, used my ruler to make sure I can get 15 centimetres across. I've done 2 or 3 marks, so I did one up here, I then moved the ruler down and did one here as well to make the line as straight as possible. Then please cut it out, following the line as best you can. We don't really want wonky paper for origami. Accuracy, again, as I said before, is important. Right, so the first 2 folds are halfway folds basically, where you take the paper and you fold it in half one way, open it back out, and you fold it in half the other way and open it back out. This next fold, we're going to work backwards on these. So these folds, you can see they fold down and create a kind of a mountain, shall we say. The next fold, you're going to fold to make what we call a valley. So make sure that you'll have mountains, or I have on my blue side. And I'm now going to do these diagonal folds that go here to make them become a valley shape. You can see now I've done my valley folds like this, so they go diagonal, and the same that way. Now you can see it's already starting to get some 3D shape to it, so just make sure that you're following the folds at the right point to help it get that 3D. So just to emphasize, when I did my lines this way, they created a mountain fold. So it's hard to see. There you go, mountain fold. And when I did my diagonal folds, they created a valley fold or a V fold. And that's how those are different. Those will be important things when we go on to the next stage. What we're now going to do is we've just done the diagonal V valleys in the paper. We're now going to flip it upside down. And a little trick which has helped me is push the middle in so it kind of reverses the shape. We're then going to lift this corner in the middle like that. So I'm just going to relax that again. So this corner, or any side corner, because they're all folding in, we're going to pinch that and bring it up to the top. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. I'm just going to turn it around actually, because then I can use one hand on doing it. So that's going to come in. This other side is going to come in. Oh, like that. And then we're going to have a flat side there. So I've got, if I open it out again to show you, you bring in the side and flatten it. You bring in the other side and flatten it, and it does that, okay? So the trick with this is to make sure that they're folding all inside each other, and that is the shape that you want. Okay, so you're now going to want what's called, I would say this is the open side down at the bottom, and you're going to bring this piece in here and you're going to line it up so this edge there is matching up with this straight line here. I've done that to both sides. The next stage is to bring this triangle down so it folds at the top of these pieces. So it's going to come down like that and fold at the top of those pieces. This one is quite a tough fold because there's quite a bit of paper here now. So just make sure that you really press it in to the paper so the fold is accurate and it's there, and it does kind of hold its shape. Right, we're then going to open all of these out, and we're going to lift it up on itself, just that first layer of paper, so it becomes a diamond. So if you can see here, that's how it is. I've got all my shapes in here. I'm now going to lift it up, and I'm going to put pressure on that bit there and bring these sides in. I'll do it step by step because I am doing it one-handed. So these bits go in quite nicely. You then have to force this bit at the top to go on the fold lines. So it might need to give it a bit of a poke, a bit of a manipulation, but mine's about to go into a diamond, even though I'm doing it one-handed. So I might just quickly flip it upside down to help me. And if the folds are there and they are secure and accurate, it's going into shape. There we go. And that is your next stage. We've got to this point. You're now going to repeat that on this side. So flip it over and bring in these edges to the middle on both sides. Bring down the triangle and then lift it up into a diamond. So I've done all my folds, the two sides and the top. And open out again, and the same as before, using those folds to help me. I'm going to push it. So I now create a diamond on this side. The bottom bits are easier. I then find it quite good to turn it upside down. And then, oh, top's got a bit stuck. And then use the other folds I've created Ooh, yeah, I think that one's alright. And then that fold there. You might have this happening now, where I've got a bit of overlapping. So I'm just going to go back and refold that, because I'm not happy with it. Double folded, that's gone a bit wrong. So I'm just going to try and make the good one be stronger and more defined to help that. You may have this happening too. It's part of origami. Don't worry, just try your best to try and push it back into the right place. So I just want to show you something. This is overlapping slightly, but I think I can get away with it. And I have ripped my paper. If you rip your paper too, don't worry, it happens. But I need to maybe be a bit more gentle with it and be a little less rough to reduce the rips. From this point, we're going to bring this bit down, and then we're going to turn it and just emphasise this centre fold here by giving it a bit of pressure. So it looks like this. So we're now going to start to make the wings. We're going to fold these. This is the thicker side, the thicker end. We're going to fold these up against that line there, and then turn it over and do the same. Nearly finished. We're just going to put in the head. You can see I've already got the folds in, because it's very hard to show you if it's not in there one-handed, but basically what you do is you go in between, you're going to push this paper, you're going to push this paper down, and you see that? So you create a mountain fold on this side, and then this bit goes into a valley fold to create the head. Annoyingly, that's the end that I've ripped my paper, but I can just tuck that. Oops, I can just tuck that in, and then we have our origami bird. Now you might have made one before that looks a bit like a crane. I would say this one is a bit, well, maybe not simpler, but different to the crane. You can finish off by adding in some details to the wings if you want. You can finish off by adding in a dot for the eye. You could also, if you've done this really quickly and you've still got time, you could make one of a different size. So you could cut your paper to 10 by 10 centimetres, or you could go bigger and go 20 to 20. But I hope you enjoy this first stage of origami animal making, and we will go on to make more animals in future weeks. Please upload a photo to Teams of your bird, or if you've done your two birds, so I can see how well you've done and give you some feedback on your making process.